Putin is ready to attack more countries, which is why NATO's eastern flank must be prepared. This is the message from the presidents of Poland and Finland following a meeting between delegations in Helsinki. 100 American Bradley infantry fighting vehicles are on their way to Poland. According to media reports, the vast majority of the vehicles are being transferred from American military bases in Germany, and importantly, each vehicle is fully combat ready. This support is part of the rotational U.S. presence in our country, which is of key importance for Poland in the face of the growing threat from the east. Military equipment is one thing, but diplomatic rapprochement is another. President Karol Nawrocki is conducting his offensive through contacts with his closest allies. Today, Finland, which given its location on NATO's eastern flank, automatically became our strategic partner in security matters when it joined the alliance. We spoke with the president. The president is open to expanding the Bucharest 9, and I am very grateful for that. All Central European countries, the Nordic and Baltic states, feel responsible for NATO's eastern flank. We will be in the process here. The president is open to these discussions. During his meeting with his Finnish counterpart, the Polish president emphasized that the threat is real, which is why cooperation between allies, especially in this region, is crucial. Helsinki controls the Gulf of Finland, a key shipping channel for Russia across the Baltic Sea, which after Finland and Sweden joined NATO, has become almost an internal sea of the alliance. We are convinced that Vladimir Putin is ready to strike at other countries as well, which is why we are developing our armed forces, our partnerships, our allied relations, and building the responsibility of our countries in the face of changes in the security architecture in Central Europe, Northern Europe, and the Nordic and Baltic states. This, of course, also affects Poland. The Finnish president devoted a large part of the talks to the issue of Ukraine. The so-called Coalition of the Willing, which includes Helsinki, is preparing to send troops to the east, but only if a truce is signed between Kiev and Moscow. At the same time, however, he warned against a possible strategic mistake by NATO.
Our shared view is that it is important to strengthen NATO's deterrence and defense against Russia as a long-term threat. A possible peace or ceasefire in Ukraine does not mean we can let our guard down.
All the more so because, as analysts maintain, Russia could pose a real threat to NATO's eastern flank. Former senior British military intelligence officer Philip Ingram recently stated that Putin could strike directly at the Achilles heel of our region, namely the Suwałki Gap.
To understand the threat to the Baltics, we need to look at the Russian hybrid warfare playbook. Intelligence experts call them indicators and warnings, the breadcrumbs that reveal an enemy's intentions. Russia's playbook for the Baltics is unlikely to be a simple head-on assault. They're masters of hybrid warfare. They've already started.
The situation around the Suwałki Gap was the subject of talks between the presidents of Poland and Lithuania during Karol Nawrocki's visit to Vilnius yesterday. It is clear that both countries, with American support, must prepare for possible provocations from Moscow. One of these could be the Russian-Belarusian military maneuvers near the Suwałki Gap, which are set to begin this weekend. In response to the aggressive moves by Minsk and Moscow, the Polish government has decided to close its borders with Belarus. However, according to some commentators, the Polish government has a credibility problem in the context of security, considering that some of the Polish counterintelligence service officials are the same people who over a decade ago met with Russia's Federal Security Service representatives at boozy parties as part of the so-called reset policy, including at the Russian Navy's Baltic base. The situation was different during the reset, when people who are now jointly responsible for security have partied with representatives of Russia's Federal Security Service, took joint helicopter flights, and signed a shameful agreement with the Russian Special Services. This is dangerous because the Kremlin may try to use every opportunity and every possible contact for diversionary and hybrid activities.